Welcome to Liberating Inner Beauty Revolution, a movement where we all come together to break free from everything that's keeping us stuck emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, sensually, sexually, and financially. So we can all come and welcome our true divine self and live the life that we truly desire. I am Lucia Gabriela, and today's topic, we have an interview. Our topic today is sexual healing through craniosacral therapy. And we have our guest today. His name is Terry Gowinski, and he is a specialist on craniosacral therapy here in Sarasota, Florida. Thank you, Terry, for coming today and being part of this amazing show. I'm so honored to have you. And introduce yourself a little bit, and what do you do, who you are, and share with our tribe the beauty of craniosacral and what it is. A lot of people out there don't know what craniosacral is. So if you can please share with us what it is and how you can help people.
Okay, my name is Terrence Gerwinski. I've been doing cranial work for 20 years. I'm a licensed massage therapy, but 20 years ago I stopped doing massage and started doing craniosacral therapy because I found with craniosacral therapy accesses the body at a much deeper level than massage, and the results for my clients are so much deeper and faster.
Yeah, as a colleague, I have experienced the beautiful energetic releases that craniosacral creates in the body. Can you just explain us a little bit more of what it is? Like, how does that work for people that have no idea how really craniosacral work?
Essentially, what we're working with in craniosacral therapy is energy, and life is energy. And I'm going to take a step back before I talk about energy. I'm going to talk about the human body. And our body is all our muscles and organs are encased in fascia, connective tissue, very strong connective tissue. Not only are the organs encased in and the muscles encased in fascia, but are also interspersed in fascia. If we didn't have fascia, and our muscles would pull apart. It holds our muscles together. It doesn't give the muscles their strength, but it gives the muscles their shapes, attaches the muscles to the bone. So all our muscles from your little toe to the top of your head is encased in fascia. All your organs are encased in fascia, and your craniosacral system is also encased in fascia, and that's the spinal cord and the brain are encased in fascia. The spinal cord is encased in a tube called the dural tube that anchors into your sacrum, ultimately in your tailbone, goes through the holes in the vertebrae, the vertebral canal. As it enters your cranium, it opens up and becomes the outer lining of your cranium. Then within our cranium, we have two sheets of fascia, a vertical sheet and a horizontal sheet attached to that outer lining. If we remove everything from the body other than fascia, we would have the outline of the human body in fascia. And why fascia is important is because, and this is where we're going to relate energy to it, let's say I'm walking out of my office and I gently bump my shoulder on the door jamb. Mm-hmm. By the laws of physics, energy is coming into my body and something has to happen to that body. Body says, no problem, and just dissipates. It spreads it around. But let's say I fall with my whole weight against the door jamb, or I go out on the street and I'm sitting in my car at a stoplight and somebody plows into the back of my car at 50 miles an hour. Energy, a tremendous amount of energy is coming into my body through that trauma. The body says, if I try to spread this energy around, dissipate it, it's just going to cause further trauma. So I need to stop that energy. And what happens is fascia shortens and tightens to isolate that energy. Three things happen when fascia shortens and tightens. There's going to be pain in that area, related area. You're going to lose range of motion. You can't move your arm the same way that you did before that trauma took place. And thirdly, there's a transfer of energy within the body. Because the craniosacral system, the brain and the spinal cord, are encased in fascia, and I got to take a step back, and that fascia in the body is totally interrelated. It's all one network. So if energy comes into your knee and the fascia in your knee tightens up, the rest of the fascia in the body feel that. They feel an increasing tightness. Okay, so you're in a car accident, the energy comes into your hip or your shoulder, the fascia shortens and tightens. The rest of the fascia in the body feel that increased tension, the organs, and it's going to kind of slow down the natural movement of the organs, but the craniosacral system also feels that increased tension. And we'll take a step back with the craniosacral system. We have the brain and the spinal cord bathed in cerebral spinal fluid. We have a set amount of fluid within our system. But every 4 to 6 seconds within our cranium, the body adds an extra amount of craniosacral fluid, let's say a ½ ounce. The next 4 to 6 seconds, the body absorbs a ½ ounce of old craniosacral fluid with metabolic waste in it. That cycle is repeated 6 to 10 times a minute. And if we were to be able to look at the cranium has plates in it, bones, and these bones are meant to move. So when the body is adding new craniosacral fluid, the plates open up, hits a high pressure, and then the body starts to absorb old craniosacral fluid and the plates come back together. And if you could see or feel, you would see this happening in our head. So our head, just like our lungs respirate, so does our head open and close. Now, sometimes because of trauma to the head or tension from other parts of the body, the plates are not moving freely. Doesn't mean that the body isn't adding or subtracting craniosacral fluid, but it's doing it against resistance. When we talked about pain because of that fascia shortening and tightening, pain in that area or related area, loss of range of motion and flexibility in the body, and the third one was the craniosacral system. The craniosacral system turns to the body and says, because of that car accident, that fall, that surgery, that emotional trauma, I feel a drag on me. Okay, and let's say we have 200 pounds of energy every day. 100 pounds of energy goes to keeping our bodies physiologically going, our organs and everything that's involved in that. 100 pounds is our functional energy, work play energy, 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden you've been in that car accident. The craniosacral system says, because of that car accident, I feel a drag on me. If you want me to function at least adequately, I need more energy. And in this case, it was a severe car accident. I need another 30 pounds of energy. So guess where that comes from? It comes out of our functional energy, that 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. So now you only have 70 pounds of energy to function that same time period. And that explains why, as we go through great trauma, our energy levels drop, or as we age, our energy levels drop. Because as we age, life keeps beating us up. We might start off with birth trauma, falling off a tricycle at 3 years old, out of a tree at 10 or 12 years old, somebody hitting us on the head with a baseball bat, car accidents, falls, surgeries, illness, emotional traumas, death, divorce, abuse. Emotional traumas are also energy coming into the body. And just think, when you go through some emotional crisis, what happens? Your body tightens up. So because of history, and we are the history of everything that has happened to us from the time we're conceived, whatever's going on in our mother's life, our birth, and all the traumas that take place until you are where you are. And so our bodies are our history. So the three things we talked about: pain, range of motion restriction, and now the craniosacral system asking for more energy, and our energy levels drop. Okay, so what we're dealing with is we need to access these, what Dr. Upledger, who developed craniosacral therapy, called energy cysts. And these energy cysts, these are these pockets of energy where fascia has shortened and tightened and isolated that energy, could be in our bodies 40, 50, 60 years. The body at the time when the trauma took place says, when I feel safe, I'm going to come back and correct that. And many of us, our bodies just don't have the energy to deal with that trauma. And that's where our bodies get stuck. Our bodies have done everything that it should, protected us, but got stuck. So you come into my office, and me as the craniosacral therapist, I create that safe place on your body. And craniosacral therapy is, and can I touch you? Okay, essentially is holding techniques. What we want to do is access the body and go to the place where fascia has shortened and tightened and where that energy is isolated. As I come onto your body will either say to yourself, I feel safe with this therapist, or I don't feel safe with the therapist. In my case, I'd say 99% of the people feel safe with me. So I put my hands on the person's body. It may be on their hips if they, maybe one leg is pulled up by the fascia, or they have sciatic pain or restriction in terms of movement. So I'd put maybe one hand underneath your sacrum, one hand on top of your abdomen, and we just sit there for 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And your body says, okay, I feel safe. And immediately the body will start to allow some of that shortened fascia to go back to its original memory of long. And you, as the client, will immediately start to feel. You start to feel it as a releasing, a relaxing, a letting go. Your hip might turn out. You may start to feel energy moving down your legs or different parts of your body. And essentially, the whole session will be related to releasing as much of these isolated pockets of energy, because as that energy starts to release from the body, the fascia is lengthening out, and three things happen. Pain starts to dissipate and go away. Range of motion increases. You might come in only raising your arm up to your shoulder. At the end of a session, you're raising your arm over your head without me stretching you out or doing anything other than working on that specific area or another area. And then the third thing that happens at some point, sometimes first session, sometimes after 3 or 4 sessions, the craniosacral system says, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't feel the drag of that car accident anymore because we've released enough fascia from that trauma that the craniosacral system says, thank you. I don't need that 25 pounds of energy that I borrowed 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and gives it back to the body. And all of a sudden, you will start doing things that normally would be a problem for you to do because you just don't have the energy. I had one lady who was in her 70s, comes in and she says, you know, I could only do about 10 minutes of housework and I'm exhausted. 4 sessions later, she comes in and she says, I got up Sunday morning and I was able to do 6 hours of housework. She was all excited. Now, I don't know how anybody could be excited about doing 6 hours of housework, but what happened was this lady now had the energy to be able to do what she wanted to do. And this is the phenomenal thing about craniosacral therapy. The results are immediate. Generally, if you go to a craniosacral therapist who's well-trained and knows what they're doing, you should leave almost every session feeling better than when you came in.
Yeah, one of the amazing things about Terry is when I met him, we met in an amazing event for beauty and wellness here in Sarasota. and he was doing some demonstrations of craniosacral into to people, and I volunteered to, as a practitioner myself, I just wanted to see like experience the touch of other amazing craniosacral therapists, and what I love about the fact that Terry did it was that my hip was like kind of like dislocated in an aspect, and after 15 minutes of working with me on the table, my hip got in alignment nicely. Like it was just 15-minute session, and then we have another session together where you work on me and like more things like more range of motion will happen immediately, and the result that like truly remarkable. Like you can, like you said, like after a session of craniosacral, you can actually see the result. One of the things I love about craniosacral is that the practitioners are not just trained in the physiological level or just the physical level of it, but also the practitioners go deeper into the energy work of it. And as a healer, energy worker myself, I love the fact that we're trained in the field of like being present with the energy and allowing that energy to do the work and it to work and allow the healing of the body to do properly and like by itself. And we just there to provide, the space of sacredness that you're providing for your client. So the topic is going to go a little more heated up. You know me. We're gonna be talking. It's amazing that to see like craniosacral can help us in different issues of our life, many traumas. And one of the things I love about Terry is that when we were talking, he mentioned to me about like how he helped women that had gone through sexual abuse to release the blockages of that abuse and that trauma. As we know, anything that happened in our life emotionally, I love the fact that you brought up the whole emotion blockages that it get caught up in the body. And one of the things I love to share is that anything that happened to us is not just happening physically, like by a bump or like a car accident, but also happen in an emotional level that we get caught up and we suppress in our body all those emotions from the past. And craniosacral that help to release those blockages in a very safe environment. And how does that work with like for us to experience true sexual healing, we have to experience emotional healing. And craniosacral is a great way to help our body to release the emotional blockages that we have. And any kind of like anger, resentment, suffering, when somebody dies, and we have these emotional, how do you call these words? They just come out of my mouth. When we grieved, right?
Grieving.
Grieving.
Yes,
That when
yes.
we grieve, and this whole grieving get attached in our lungs, and I do see a lot of great results from craniosacral therapy on grieving because it helps the lung to breathe again, and this whole energy just get back into normal state. And talk a little more about like experiences with helping women and to release these blockages of sexual abuse, because that's our topic today. Like our goal is to empower people to realize that there's so many therapies out there for sexual healing. And craniosacral is one of them in a very nice, safe environment where we feel very comfortable and very loved and very cared by the practitioner itself to be able to do this work. How does that work? Like, what is like your experience with like healing sexual abuse in women that have gone through like that trauma?
Just like we were talking a little before, when a physical trauma comes into your body, fascia reacts to isolate that energy. An emotional trauma comes into your body, the same thing. Our body, we store those emotional traumas in our body. What I find with women who come in who've been sexually molested, especially as children, they tend to be very cerebral people. They're up in their head, and to the point at which they're, if things get tough, they'll even leave their bodies. They dissociate. They go away. Another thing that I've found with almost every person that I've dealt with over the last 20 years, by the time they're 30 years of age, they've had all kinds of gynecological and lower bowel problems. And like, why are these women so cerebral? Why are they up in the head? And one of the things I must say is most of these women who've come in are very bright, intuitive, very disciplined people in their lives. And many of them come in because they know something isn't working in their lives. My theory is that we carry the energy of our abusers on our body. And the theory that I'm going to propound is, where is this energy mostly in someone who's been sexually abused? Would be in the abdomen, in the sexual areas. Why do these women develop gynecological problems by age 30? I believe that this energy of the abuser is so toxic that after a while, not only is the body jammed up, the fascia is jammed up because it's tightened up to protect the person, but also the energy of the abuser is so toxic that the poor cells just give up the ghost, and then you have all kinds of problems. I also find that people are cut in half. Their upper half is not connected to the lower half. And the process that I use is, I can't say it's something that I learned from Upledger. Upledger has their way of dealing with emotional traumas. This system that came to me just developed over the years, and it's very simplistic. And I actually remove myself from the process as much as possible. Okay, let's say it isn't related to sexual abuse, but other kinds of trauma. So I kind of hone in, like, where are you burying some of this emotional trauma? Let's say your heart area. So it's a very simple process. You're on a table, fully clothed, and I would have one hand behind, can I put, and one hand over your heart area. And I'll say, I want you to put your thinking, analytical mind aside. We want to get beyond the mind, because the mind plays games with you. And I just want you to, with your awareness, I want you to come into your heart area. And it's going to be like walking into a room for the first time, and you're just going to look around and become aware of what's there. You might see bone and flesh, but not necessarily. You're more likely to see darkness, light, shapes, symbols. You may have certain feelings, and sometimes nothing happens. About 85% of the people come in are able to go in with an awareness, and I'll tell them, whatever comes up, I don't want you to analyze it. I just want you to be aware of it and experience it. And when you become aware of something that's coming up in your heart area, I want you to tell me. And if I ask you any questions, I don't want you to think the answer. I just want you to whatever the first thing that comes up, and that'll be perfect. And I'm here with you, you're safe. And so then I'll take the person through, okay, I want you to put your mind aside and come into this awareness, and just have my hand over it, and they're very quiet, and maybe after a minute or two or three, they'll say, oh, it looks like a dark cave. And I'll say, I might ask a question, where are you? Are you looking in the cave, or are you in the cave? I'm in the cave. And how do you feel about being in the cave? Well, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And I'll say, you're safe. I'm here with you. I want you to experience this. And years ago, when I first started, I used to do a lot more dialoguing, and now I don't. I just say, I want you to experience this. I have my hands on you, so healing energy is going into the area. And as the person is experiencing, they may see a light at the end of the cave. And I'll say, and they'll, as things change, they'll mention it to me, and I'll say, well, why don't you go towards the light? And as the process goes on, they may come out into a pastoral scene. And, they might be in, a meadow or a beach. And when they come back into their body, it's like they've 100 pounds has been lifted off of them. We don't even know the story. The story was you went into that organ and the body presented an image to you. Whether we know what that image or not is irrelevant, and the story is irrelevant. It just that what you're immediately seeing is the body saying this is the negative energy that's there, and it could be betrayal, it could be anger, it could be anything. And as you experience it, all of a sudden this negative energy starts to dissipate and you move into a positive energy, and people get off the table and say, oh, I feel 100 pounds lighter. And as you're going through this process, I can feel physical changes actually taking place. Sometimes if you're finding an energy in there, I'll say, what do you want to do with that energy if it's alien to you? And, you can send it back to the universe, you can send it to your abuser, you can do whatever you want with that energy. And they'll say, okay, I want to send it back to the universe, go ahead. And so this healing process takes place. Now with sexual abuse, so we'll go down to the pelvic area. I'll have one hand under the sacrum, one hand on top of the abdomen, and again go through the process. You're going to put your thinking mind aside, and just with your awareness, you're going to come into this area, and it's going to be like walking into a room for the first time. I've had some clients say to go in and it's like a desert. It's dead. There's no life there. And so then we go through the same process of just, I want you to experience that. And as you experience it, maybe they might start to see an energy that they're not comfortable with. And most likely that's probably the energy of their abuser. Okay, what do you want to do with that energy? You can send it back to the abuser. You have to realize this was not your energy. It was imposed upon you. And you need to now be free of that energy. So then the person makes choice. Sometimes they want to send it back to the abuser. Sometimes they want to send it to the universe. And as this energy leaves their body, again, the images start to change. Maybe there's vegetation or lushness or an aliveness in the tissue. And again, after they come back out, it's like, oh, I feel 100 pounds lighter. I just feel so much free. And what I personally think is happening, the memory of that abuse may still be there, the history of there, but the toxicity of that trauma kind of dissipates as we allow that energy to release. And I want you, make no pretense that I'm, a psychologist or anything. I'm not doing any psychology. I'm working with the physical body to allow energy that has been imposed on the body to leave the body, just like we're working with the energy of that car accident, and that energy comes in here, where we get the body to feel safe. The fascia starts to, some of the fascia starts to go back to its original memory of long, and long fascia cannot keep energy isolated, so that energy releases in the same way that we're dealing with emotional energy. We're allowing the body to release that energy. So we're working with the body physically, and we're working with the body on an energy level. And each session in craniosacral therapy, the body will only give up as much of that shortened fascia as it feels comfortable, because as the fascia lengthens out, the muscles that the fascia encases or envelopes is going to be changed, because as the fascia lengthens out, these muscles will go back to their original length. And then all these changes not only to the muscles, but to the nervous system, to everything else that's functioning in the body, have to be integrated back into the structural system, into the fascial muscular system, into the mental emotional system, and even into the spiritual system. So we're working with the body at a multi-dimensional system. Each session of craniosacral therapy is progressive from the previous session. So we consider each session like peeling an onion. So you come in, Lucia has had one full session and then one 15-minute session. So let's say in the first 15-minute session, we peeled 3 or 4 layers off the fascial restrictions in your body. Depending on the history of Lucia, she may have 100 layers. So she came in for a full session, we peeled off another 6 or 8 layers. So the next time, if she decides not to fire me and come back into having another session, we're going to start. So we peeled off 4 layers. The next time we peeled off 8. So we're going to start 12 layers deeper, peel off another 6 or 8 layers. So each time we're opening up the body physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. What I've found in the last 2 years, which I really almost want to shout to the world, physical and emotional traumas shut down energy to our organs. And this is the first thing that has hit me between the eye. And as we release these physical and emotional blockages in the body, energy is restored to these organs. And that's so important. So that's why it's so important for us to open up our bodies, release all those tensions. Many people are out there, and as you watch people who age, what happens? Their bodies get stiffer, more twisted, their mobility gets impaired, and a lot of that could be released by fascial work. And there's different types of fascial work. Personally, I think craniosacral therapy is the deepest because a lot of the fascial work is out there that people think they have to go in and stretch the fascia, work on the fascia. Well, the fascia is multidimensional, and we can only access physically a certain amount of that fascia. Well, the difference with craniosacral therapy is I'm not going in and stretching out the fascia. I'm accessing the body's ability to correct and reorganize itself. And this is the genius of Dr. Upledger, and why I consider him one of the great 20th century thinkers. He showed us that the body can correct and heal itself physically, mentally, and emotionally if we support the body in the proper way. And with us, it's creating that safe place and then also working with the fascia. But I'm a facilitator. All that happens within the session is coming from within your body, the wisdom in your body. And I'll take it a little further. In craniosacral therapy, we believe that there is a wisdom in your body that knows everything about your body from the time you're conceived, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And when I access your body, I'm connecting with that wisdom in the body. And the most amazing things, I may be working on your hips, and all of a sudden your right shoulder comes into my consciousness, and that's a signal either for me to go and work on your shoulder or connect your shoulder to where I'm working on your hips. If I listen to that, what's coming to me, and where is that coming to me? We believe it's coming from your wisdom. It's telling us exactly what to do. So if I connect your shoulder to your hip, and in craniosacral therapy, there's about 6 or 7 different kinds of releases that we're either feeling for or watching for or listening to. And so if I connect your hip to your shoulder, and all of a sudden your body releases, might have a breath release, fascia might release, so we can feel that softening. There might be a gurgling in your stomach, which is called borborygmus. It's fluid release in the abdomen because most likely fascia around fluid ducts is releasing, I know that I'm really where I need to be and that I've listened to your wisdom. And the more we listen to the wisdom in your body, the body will take us to exactly where we need to go. Who knows more about your body than you and the wisdom in your body? Much smarter than any therapist that's there. And a good therapist is always listening to follow the body. And again, I'm a facilitator. I'm there to give your body any energy that it needs to do and to focus the energy on the areas that we're working for. I've been doing it for 20 years and I just love the work. For me, every time I feel fascia releasing, and I feel generally as much as you are going to feel in your body, for me it's like delivering a baby. And why I get so excited is, what am I feeling? I'm feeling that incredible intelligence within the body that the body knows how to do. And it's allowing me to be part of that process. And that's just so absolutely exciting. From my point of view, craniosacral therapy is a therapy that frees people up from their prisons of pain, restriction, both physical and emotional. And we all are in a prison of some kind of pain and restriction, either physically or emotionally. And if we can walk out of the office feeling better, more energy, or if we can put behind us the effects of abuse of any kind, wow, that's where we need to be. We need to get out of what was imposed upon us to being who we are, free of our parents or some authority figure establishing that we're dumb or stupid. And much of what we do in life is what was imposed upon us as a children. And many times we're not looking at ourselves through our own eyes. We're looking at ourselves through our angry father's eyes, or our abusive mother's eyes, or an angry teacher's eye, or a cleric or somebody who imposed something on us, and they establish that we're dumb, stupid, worthless, and all our life we're seeing through those eyes. So what we want to do is get to a point where we see ourselves through our own eyes and get rid of that stuff that's been imposed upon us. And that's why we're talking about energy, because energy is imposed upon us. It's imposed upon us through physical trauma, an accident, a fall, or through emotional abuse or sexual abuse. That energy is imposed upon us, and that energy is alien to our body, and we need to get rid of that energy, whether it's a physical energy or an emotional energy, to free up our bodies to be who we should be.
Thank you. It's amazing all the wisdom you have. One of the things I love the fact that you pointed out a lot, it was that the facilitator create that amazing healing space for the body to heal itself, and also is a very empowering, empowering way of healing, because you put the person, the body, into its own power. It brings the person into being in her own power. And when we're talking about the energy, that other people's energy are imposing to us for like many situations, emotions, it is true that now for us to truly experience healing is about coming home, coming to ourselves, starting from within out. That's like one of the most passionate things I am about, is that all healing stuff from within. And working with craniosacral allows the client, the people, to come back to their own power of healing, and not expecting or relying on somebody else to do the healing for them, but their body can feel safe to say, hey, now I'm recognized, I'm honored, I am appreciated for my own abilities to heal myself, and I feel like the body energetic wise start doing work naturally, and also allow the person to be on her own power, to be the person who live her life fully on fire, and let go of all those people, those energies that are not worthy of her or not worthy of them, especially for men too that had been sexually abused. It is nice to see that Craniosacral create that space for us to come home.
Yes, I
And
love
do
that.
the healing from within, and let go of everything that is not worthy of us. It's such a beautiful work you do. Thank you so much for what you're doing for a woman out there, and for everyone that is going through hard times in their life and they have that pressure and that tightness. And I really appreciate honor your work.
Well,
thank you so much, Terry.
I thank you for interviewing me, and I thank you for the work that you're doing to get the message out there that there is help for people who've been physically, mentally, emotionally abused, and that we can come into who we are. We can come home and finally see the world and see ourselves through our eyes, not something that's been imposed on us mentally, emotionally, physically, and just be free. Very important.
That's the vision of liberating inner beauty is about breaking free from everything, absolutely everything keeping us stuck, and truly live from a place of love and honor, respect, appreciation, and be the person who we are, not worrying about what other people think, and not worrying about nothing. It's just be fully present with ourselves and be in our own power and heal from within out. Thank you so much, Terry. I love having a conversation with you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today at Liberating Inner Beauty. Remind you that you can be part of the amazing Liberating Inner Beauty community, where we are here to empower each other to break free from everything that's keeping us stuck. So go to www.liberatinginnerbeauty.com and be part of amazing, empowering, and supporting inner circles. And also, remember that we are having retreats in Ecuador. So for that, go to www.shamanicadventure.com. Empowering retreat, where we'll come together to Ecuador, the beautiful landscapes there. And we transform our life from the inside out with the help of amazing, beautiful shamans, adventure, a lot of transformation, and I'm going to be there. But if you have plans to go to Ecuador and you don't want to do a retreat, just let me know. Give me a call. You can send us an email at www.shamanicadventure.com. So if you have any questions, send us an email at support@liberatinginnerbeauty.com. Please like this video, share with others. It's a very powerful information that we have there for you, and especially if you know of anybody that has been sexually abused, emotional abuse, mental abuse. There is ways out there now. We have amazing practitioners out there in our world that are helping us to really break free and be who we truly are. Thank you so much. I love you. Have an awesome day. Blessings.